Okay, so hello everyone. I'd like to just start out with a little bit of some tuning forks. I think we all need a bit of clearing out, and so this might help. So here we go. The tuning forks that I'm using are C, E, F, and G. Okay. So hello everyone, just coming on today to talk about something that I've been noticing in the news. And so it's something that you notice, I saw it was on the front page of the paper here in Japan, and then I see it all over, well, not all over the world, but I see it in the American news as well, and I imagine a lot of the Western media. And that is the whole concept that food prices are increasing, and eggs are getting more expensive and harder to get, and the chickens are not laying the eggs, and all of these different things. And you always know something's up when it's not just one country, it's like the whole world has the exact same problem. And there are solutions and stuff that there are reasons that people are saying, and yeah. But if you follow the logic, you realize that, that's interesting, that doesn't sound quite right. But the point that I want to bring up is that this concept, right? The idea that you look on the front page of a newspaper, you hear all these news. For example, in the United States, you hear about all of these factories burning down and all of these kind of things happening, and food factories, and you hear about the price of milk increasing and the price of eggs increasing and all these different things. And when you hear that, it creates a sense of fear. Now, in our world, there are only two choices. There's the choice of fear or the choice of love. And you can choose. Which one would you choose? Now, for example, this concept of food shortages, right? You could think of it as a scary thing. Oh my God, what's going to happen with the world? Or you could see that anything that is being sold to you as fear is an illusion. There is no fear. Fear doesn't exist. It is a shadow, and when you shine the light into it, you find that it's just an illusion. It's just a shadow. And so it reminded me of when all of this stuff happened a few years ago. I started farming and learning how to farm and learning how to grow things, and it was a fun experience. And I've kind of didn't have enough time to do it, but at the moment. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing in the dirt. It was fun, and so one other thing that I was interested in is guerrilla farming. I would buy store-bought potatoes that were kind of good potatoes, they're brand potatoes. And I would plant them in the tiny plot of land that I have, that everyone, like most people have in Japan. They have this little tree that's planted on their street, and then there's this little tiny plot of land, and I planted potatoes in 2 of those plots, and I got a good harvest from them, and it was very easy to plant. So that concept. So the idea is that instead of seeing this news article and thinking, oh my God, what's going to do? It's just instead think creatively. Oh, that's interesting. So what can I do if this happens? Oh, I could plant potatoes in the tiny little patch of land in front of my house, or I can learn how to plant seeds, or I can learn how to grow things on my porch. I had a student from a few years ago. I think he was in his 80s, and he was talking about World War II in Japan. And he said at the time what they would do is the schools, the grounds, like the grounds where they go out and do recess and stuff like that, they turned all those grounds into farms. And so, and all the public parks turned into farms. And so then they had enough, well, I don't know if they had enough, but they were able to survive. So there's always a creative passage around any kind of fear. So any kind of thing that comes to you and think, oh, this is a scary thing, just think about, oh, well, we as humans are extremely creative. How can we learn something new from this? Maybe this is just a lesson. For example, this food shortage thing, maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe this is all just predictive programming, right? Trying to make us think a certain way, because we are so powerful as humans. We could create this. And so if instead we look at it and say, oh, that's interesting, but I'm going to create a very abundant place where I have enough food to eat, and I'm going to learn how to farm too, because, hey, why not? So that it's a win-win situation. And so you win over the fear. And then also, but instead of being afraid of the fear or feeling anger about the fear, you just say, oh, thanks. Thanks for teaching me this. I would have never even thought of doing this without this. And that, I think... that's what I just wanted to say. I just, because my first reaction when I saw the newspaper was, no, not again. What's the next thing? The next fear that they're going to, strike into our hearts and make us worried about things. But then I just realized again, oh, that's right. It's anything that makes you feel fear, you have to question, because why would you feel afraid? It's just a newspaper. It's just some information. But who knows if it's true, and who knows if it isn't true? And so I just come back to the Course in Miracles. So I just finished. I'm on lesson 365. So I haven't finished yet. This is my last day of my 4th year, I think, or 5th year. I think I started in 2018. Yeah, so 2018. So 5th year maybe. And so the first lesson though is, I don't know. Well, let me get back to the lesson. Hold on a second. The first lesson is... which I've always thought was such an amazing lesson. It's such a great way to start. The first lesson is, nothing I see means anything, and I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me, and I do not understand anything I see, and these thoughts don't mean anything. So that we created those emotions. Like we see a piece of paper in our living room, and we are generating emotions from it, but it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything. We have given all the meaning it has to it. And so that's another part of, I guess, the Course in Miracles, is always questioning, being aware of what you're feeling, and how could a piece of paper make me feel this way? It's just a piece of paper. It's just a bunch of words on a newspaper, So I guess that, in a sense, is a part of becoming a non-dualistic person, to realizing that, that everything that happens here happens for a reason, and maybe we don't know what the reason is, and so there's no reason to judge it, and there's no reason to be afraid of it, but there's every reason to learn everything you can from it. There you go. That's my spiel. So, and it was a bit random again, so if you need to fast forward or jump to the channeling, it's cool. All right, so here we go. Let's channel and see who comes through. and maybe they could talk more about this situation. Greetings, we are the Hathors, and we are here, and we are so happy that you are in this situation. You are in this place where you are given so many wonderful, wonderful lessons. Every day there is a lesson for you to learn. And usually in your everyday lives, if it weren't for this sped up time that we're living in, you would not have all of these different challenges coming at you from every direction. This is kind of the end game. So, for example, in a game of chess, this is the end game. This is the final decision time, and you are being presented with all of these different decisions. And all of the decisions in the end are, as this guide often says, are from the Course in Miracles, a choice of fear and a choice of love. There are only two choices on this earth. And those are the only choices that you can choose. And as it does say in the Course in Miracles, the fear can turn into many, many, many different disguises. But it is always just fear. And love is always just love. And so this is a wonderful time on your planet for you to make decisions between fear and love. And we are with you. We are always with you, and we're watching you. And we're so happy with the progress that all of you are making on this journey, and on this very, very, very difficult time for all of you. The very, very difficult time. It is a very intense time. People from all over the universe are watching you and are amazed at your power and your ability to navigate through these dense and dark waters that you are navigating through. But one thing we would like to tell you is have hope, because this is not going to continue forever. This is just a time period that you're going through. A testing period, you might say. Testing might not be the right word, but this is a time for you to become the you that you need to be, the you that you need to be for this next incarnation that you're going into, for this ascension, for the new you, for the person that will take the reins for this new earth and find and navigate the places and the ways to do what you need to do on this planet for everyone else. And you will be the way showers, you who are navigating and who are plunging these deep waters and trying to find the peace within these dark waters, and realizing that everything on this planet is just a mixture of the dark and the light, and that in the end they are neither. It is just light and shadow, and the shadows do not exist. And you are amazing, wonderful beings, amazing, wonderful creators. And as this being did say, that another thing that this is also happening is when your mass media creates these stories, as I think most of you are already aware of. This is another wonderful thing, that you are aware of these ideas, that they will create this story, and then they will create the story, and then you will create it. You will make it into a reality with your amazing manifestation powers. And this is a part of what's happening. So we would suggest for you, as similar to what this being was saying, is that we would suggest for you to manifest your own future. How would you like to see the future? Make your own newspaper. Create it the way that you would like to see it. Because you do have that power. You are super, super, super powers. And you can change anything that you'd like to change. Once you become aware of how powerful you are. So we would say in the future, we don't want to give a time frame, but we would say in the future, and this is a foreseeable future for you, you will look back at this time and you will think, wow, I thought I was so disempowered, but you would look at the power that you have in this future time and think, I was so powerful. It would have been like a snap to change the whole world. And you can do it individually. Each of you can do it. You have that power inside of you right now. And if you could only see it from our perspective, you would see how very, very powerful you are. So do not worry about this. Do not worry about these waves that are coming, and use them to learn the lessons that you need to learn. And if you are worried, don't worry, just prepare. and feel the love that you are, and feel the love that you are surrounded by as amazing super creators. Okay, so that's the message today. So ciao.